Bless you for joining us once again. We thank God for your lives and for His grace. We want to continue. Um, we've been dealing with praying the will of God, and we dealt with the template of Christ in Mark chapter 14, verse 32 downwards to 33, 34, when Jesus said his soul was troubled, but then he had to do the will of God in the Garden of Gethsemane. He must go to the cross. He was destined to go to the cross, so he operated from his spirit, but his soul was fighting it, but he resisted that fight. That is what the devil. So when it talks about spiritual battles, this is spiritual battle. It is not an engagement where you take king, you take pepper, and you think you can smear the devil who is a spirit. It is about your soul. Because the devil has discovered that that's the area he can touch. So the Bible tells us in Matthew chapter 6, verse 25, that we shouldn't worry about what we eat and all. But the soul tends to, at the point when the devil comes in, to make you feel you can provide for yourself and protect yourself. We look at Jesus' example. Now let's look at what happened in the garden of God in Eden. Genesis chapter 3, verse 4. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die, for God do know that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods, knowing God and knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And the eyes of both of them were open, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. In the garden, these two didn't pray for provision. They didn't pray for covering, protection. They had it. They didn't even know they were naked until the Bible said they ate the fruit and their eyes opened. Now, I said you have spirit, you have soul, and you have body. Which of the eyes open? Because the two of them, the eyes of their body were open. Because they saw everything. The eyes of their body, the eyes were open. They saw everything. They were able to move around. They were not blind. The eyes of their spirit were also open. How do I know this? They were able to communicate to God, who is spirit. That is why he put his spirit into your spirit. And Adam was able to name all the animals rightly because the eyes of his spirit were open. So which eye opened when they ate the fruit? The eyes of their soul. And that one, who caused them to open it? The devil came and said, eat and your eyes will be open. This is where the devil fights. This is where he attacks. So when their eyes opened, what did they do? They began to sow figs to cover themselves. When in fact, God was their covering. So man tend to feel he can provide for himself and he can protect himself. When in fact, he was supposed to submit to the spirit and receive covering. Which is not covering at all. The one they did for themselves couldn't cover them. Verse 8. And they heard the voice of the Lord walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord. What is happening here? This is what Satan wanted to do. Fear was introduced because the eyes of the soul opened. And now they saw God as an enemy because now they began to see things differently. Previously, they were seeing with their spiritual eye. And their spiritual eye was informing their physical eye. They lived in that manner. They didn't pray for provision. They didn't pray for protection. But when the eyes of your soul opens, now you feel you can feed yourself. The lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. The lust of the flesh, there is a need. The lust of the eye, how can it be done? Pride of life is that I can do it myself. This is where the danger is. So spiritual warfare is how you can preserve your position in the spirit and not allow your soul to take control. This is Pastor Edemado. God bless you for joining us. We'll continue.